This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Peterball family farm, Hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Mastering the BJCP Tasting Exam, an interview with Doug Walker from Rusty Nut Brew & Q. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 442. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. Even better, you're going to call it in to 325-305-6107. When I use your voicemail on a future episode, get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. It does not get much better than that. I am your host, Joshua Stubing. Todd and James are still out. Good. I didn't want them here because I'm actually joined by, it was a nice surprise episode. I have an intro for you, Doug. I'll read it. Let me fade out the music that sometimes y'all hear, sometimes they don't. The gong. I'm going to play the gong. No one's going to hear the gong. It's up. Anyway, Doug Walker, the man behind Rusty Nut Brew & Q, which is an online resource to help homebrewers with their processes and getting better results. He's also the author, the man behind the book, the BJCP Exam Success Study Guide, which we'll definitely go into in this episode. Doug, my friend, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate, first off, I love Todd, so I would give out my personal address because 99% of people in the community are cool, but I don't want to publish it online or nothing like that. And so we get stuff sent to headquarters all the time at 1800 let me plug that for people who want to send me stuff. 1800 EDC Parkway, Comanche, Texas 76442. Attention, Joshua, in parentheses, Todd, please don't touch. That's what I tell people to address it as. Todd calls me 10 days ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe even between 2 and 3 weeks. Hey, there's something here for you. And okay, cool. And we got stuck with some install project, so I never went to the office. I finally get to the office last week. And first off, there's two delicious cigar sitting there. And I was like, thank God, Doug, you know how to pack a cigar. You had the Boveda pack in there. Everything was fine. Like they maintained moisture and all that. The humidity was right. But I was so upset at Todd, like, you didn't open the box to see what was in it. And he's like, you don't like it when I open the box. But better than that, you wrote us a real cool note, but you sent me your study guide. I don't know if that was a backhanded compliment of like, Joshua, you need this, trust me, or if you were being actually helpful, which I know that's what you're actually doing. But I'm so excited. I've already read it. It's a quick read. I'll have a link in the description, guys, or if you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, it'll be in the show notes there as well. But I appreciate you sending all that stuff. And that is not the reason you're on. I'm just telling you that I do appreciate that because I forget how cool our community is, like it full of people. I would never have guessed that you really cared to watch the show, Doug.
Well, of course I would like to watch the show. So I actually sent you the book because you had recently done an episode where you were talking about judging, and I think you made a comment about how the mystery of the BJCP judging, and I thought, well, here's a good opportunity to share something. If I don't presume that you tomorrow are going to want to go and take the tasting exam, but I thought it might be some good insight to you to kind of show that it's not really that complicated. It's just certain set of guidelines that they're following in a certain process.
Absolutely. No, I sincerely do appreciate it. And in honor of also a comment that our buddy Trent Musho, who's at the Brew Show on YouTube, a much more successful channel, I had made a joke about how people shouldn't take my judging serious anyways because I've burned my palate so bad. You've got your beer there. I've got a Warsteiner Dunkel's what I'm drinking. What are you drinking over there?
I am drinking a Bamberg style Rauch beer.
Wow, well, I'm assuming it's homebrew.
It is. It's somewhere right between a Special and a Schrankula. And I know I screwed up the pronunciation of that. So Brett, if you're listening to this, yeah, I do that.
Brother, you're in good company. Lorena Evans helped me recently, and afterwards she goes, every time you say trub, it kills me. Like, deal with it, lady. I blame my speech impediment. That way I put it back on them. Like, you're being a bigot. How dare you? But back to what I was saying. Also, one of the cigars you sent me, this wonderful from Jew Estate. It's an Undercrown, a Grand Toro. I appreciate it, my friend. I'm going to light it up as I ask my first question to you or get this thing kind of going. People may know you on your Instagram, which is Rusty Nut Brew, the letter N and then QUE. You have a YouTube channel as well. But how did it all start? Because when I was surprised, you've been brewing for a little over 4 years, but you've easily brewed way more batches than the average home brewer probably has. It seems like you got bit by the bug quick. So tell us your history as a home brewer, what got you into the hobby, and then like the kind of gear you were brewing on and stuff like that.
So as a personality type, I tend to jump in. If I'm doing something, I tend to jump in 100 and plus 1,000%. So I started brewing after a buddy of mine, and I'll say his name, Nick here, who does consulting for some breweries up in Washington. So good friend of mine. We hang out, we smoke cigars online all the time, and he's taught many a home brewer, and he was telling me, yeah, Doug, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. And I'm like, finally, I'm like, why don't I want to do it? He's like, because if you do it, you're just going to fall in love with it. And then it's all you're going to want to do. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, let me try. Let me just see. So I go down to the More Brew. Shout out to our friends over at More Brew in Riverside because they treat us right. I know I'm just dropping plugs on the show.
Dude,
already.
I love
Look
it.
at me.
Look
at me making income.
You're a pro. You're a pro. Yeah.
I'm not making any income. Anyways, so I went down there and I went in and I said, okay, so I've done my research. Looks like all-in-one because I don't want to be squeezing a bag. So it looks like I'm going to go for the all-in-one system. And it looks like the best one you have right now is the G30. And so the guy's like, oh, so what are you brewing on now? And I'm like, nothing. He's like, so you're just starting with a G30? And I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, well, do you want to consider something smaller? And I'm like, well, if I like it, then I'm just going to have to buy the bigger one.
Yeah.
If I don't like it, then I'll just sell whatever I get and I'll lose a little money. I said, so either way, I kind of feel like, no, I just want to get the G30. So I got the G30. I got a plastic Firmzilla. I don't know how much time you have today, but then I brought it home, and I will tell you. Do you want to hear the horrific, gruesome start?
100%. Absolutely.
Okay, I wasn't planning on telling this story, but since we're talking about that first day and it's reminiscent, so I bring it home, and if you know anything about these all-in-one units, they will really test a plug. So I had it in an outlet, and the outlet died, and it was mid brewing. So I took an extension cord and I ran it to an outside plug, and it wasn't getting to boiling temperature. I did not know at the time that boiling temperature changes by elevation. So my boiling temperature at that time of year with that barometric pressure was just under 99 degrees.
What?
So it wasn't getting to the temperature of 100.
Yeah.
It was boiling, but it wasn't getting to 100. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's the outlet. So I unplug it from the extension cord, and then I move it in the kitchen closer to the outlet. Still no problems. I plug it back in. Everything's great. And then it occurs to me, oh, I need to use the phone to tell this thing to go. So I pick my phone up, and my brain is going in 1,000 ways, and I fumble the phone, and I try to grab the phone, and out of instinct, I just reached for it, and my hand went right into the boiling wort, right back out, just for a second. I mean, it wasn't very long. Immediately ran it under cold water, stuck it in ice, did all that stuff. I learned later that that's called blanching.
Is that the term? Okay.
It is the blanching. Yes. If you want to take the skin off something, you put it in hot boiling water, and then you wear it under cold water. You could do that with a tomato or apparently an old man's hand. And so I'm spending about maybe 15 minutes. I'm just trying to use utensils to dig the phone out. And finally, my friend looks at me. He goes, "What are you doing? You're not going to drink that. Just go dump it out and get your phone back. And your phone's probably dead anyway." So it was. About an hour later, my friend's fiance comes over, and she's like, "Why aren't you at the emergency room?" I'm like, "It doesn't really hurt," and it didn't. And then it started to hurt. So then we went to the emergency room, and they took me right in. Apparently, burns are a fast pass to the front of the line. They put some cream on it, and I got to be honest with you, except for that 30-minute period, they put this cream on it, and I kept this cream on it until it healed. Like 3 weeks later,
Yeah.
It never had pain. When the doctor was scrubbing it, I'm like, "Is this bad? Like, did I kill my nerves if I can't feel it?" He's like, "Well, do you feel it?" I go, "I feel it, but it doesn't hurt." And maybe later I'll send you some pictures. I will not put those on the website. But anyways, so it healed. Look at me. I'm like Wolverine. Can't even tell which hand, can you?
I was going to say,
it's the younger hand.
I was about to ask.
The younger hand. It's like a spa treatment. I'm going to do this one next.
That's hilarious.
So then we left the emergency room, went to the phone company because I used my phone for work, so I had to have the phone fixed. And then we went to the grain store, bought replacement grain, went home, dumped everything out. I started the cleaning cycle before I left. So when I came home, PBW was still running. I finished the clean cycle, put new grain in there, and I refused to let the day decide how it was going to end. So we finished that beer.
That's incredible. Wait, what was it? What was the style?
It was an orange wheat, which the initials, if you put thought into this, is OW.
Was it originally an orange wheat though? Because then you just
it was an orange wheat. It was based after, there's a local brewery here, Hangar 24, and they have an orange wheat. So I was trying to make a beer like theirs, and I got pretty good at making their beer. I moved on to other styles, but yeah, so that was my first batch. And then after that, I just, kept on brewing. And I didn't really keep track exactly how many I did that year. It was like half a year. But the next year, so I got to make sure I say this correctly. As Joshua would say, I do not want to incriminate myself.
No, Todd says that.
I brew about 40 to 50 batches in a year. And some of those batches make it to beer. Mr. ATVC.
Yeah.
So
wink, wink.
Apparently I am exactly at the legal limit. I would not go one drop over.
That's hilarious. I make essential
Yeah, so
oils
I mean, I
too.
don't drink all the beer though. So I'm part of the Inland Empire Brewers, and we participate in anywhere from 5 to 8 charities a year where we take our beers as a group, and sometimes we bring in 55 beers strong to an event, and then we hand it out, and they raise money with charities. And so a lot of that beer goes to charities, it goes to weddings, it goes to friends parties, a lot goes to competitions, and a beer or two makes it into my pint.
Well, and I was going to ask, I mean, the first batch, was it you had the G30, so I'm assuming you're doing a 5-gallon batch, that very first one.
Yes.
Um, Now that is a fantastic piece of equipment. I mean, I'm literally I'm using the G40. I love Grainfather. They're fantastic. And the one I have, I don't know of any of the Grainfathers that don't have bells and whistles, but the G40 certainly does, where it's holding my hand through the process and giving me good reminders. Yeah, oh, look right there. People are watching on YouTube. First off, very cool brewery, dude. I know it didn't start that way, but I'm assuming it got to that quick as you. Oh, look at that multicam. Look at Doug. He came ready with the multicam. Dang. He's it. You know what? You're the new, you and Lorena, you're the new co-host, because Todd and James keep ditching me. I'm on your website, and I can't believe, though, still, based off of so first off, friends, go to Rusty Nut Brew, the letter NQQUE.com, and your website's phenomenal. On your about, it tells everybody, I mean, literally your philosophy and all that, but it says your very first batch was just July 31st, 4 years ago. We're barely you're 4 years and some change into home brewing. But then when I go to your performance by style, not even just the batches you've brewed, but like your results by year. You started competing in 2022, and a lot of entries by the time you get to this year. It looks like 2024, obviously, because we've already been through a full year. You had 119 entries. I mean, you've been cranking out batch after batch. Are you still doing 5-gallon batches, or are you doing double brew days? What are you doing to keep up with that kind of brew schedule?
So I'm actually brewing less this year because of the G40, because a percentage of my batches are now 10-gallon batches. So I am running into a bottleneck that I only have seven spots to put kegs. And I have 4 lines on my glycol. So I have a bottleneck. So like right now, I would love to brew, but I don't have any place to put it. And I've been brewing for the Master Homebrewers program. I've been brewing to get the Jack of all trades, and so I have 2 beers that I have no intention of drinking. Last month I had 2 beers I wasn't intending on drinking, and I just kind of I store them until an event shows up, and then I can go off that way. Um, but no, last in 2024, I participated in the brew club. So I'm involved with a lot of clubs, Inland Empire Brewers, the Brew Tubers, which is one of the reasons why I'm starting to do a lot of videos. They've inspired me, and the Brew Club, which was my first online club that I participate in, and they have a circuit. It's a free circuit, by the way. If anyone's looking for a free circuit to jump into that has amazing prizes, and they want to do competing, then I think they have typically like 9 to 10 competitions a year. And so that was really I was doing my local California stuff. I was doing the brew club stuff, and I got second in that circuit, but it really taxed my logistics. So the logistics were a challenge. And this year I've decided to really dial it back and just focus on California competitions, and then do a couple, foam, or the Michigan State Fair, some of the big ones, but really just focus on California. And I'll tell you, yeah, you like stories. I'll tell you this story. Um, I was at a competition. I think it was Pacific Cup. I'm not sure, but I'm getting ready to go to the restroom, as we do. And a gentleman was walking out, and he saw my shirt was from the Inland Empire Brewers Club, and he goes, "Oh," and he pointed at my logo. He goes, "Boy, I hope Jason's not here." Jason's our president of our club, and a phenomenal brewer. He took in Dark Check Lager. He took NHC 3 years running, 3 years in a row.
Oh, wow. Really?
Gold, silver, and a bronze, 3 years back to back. So a phenomenal brewer. And so when this guy saw he goes, "Oh, I hope Jason's not in any of my tables." And in my head, I'm like, "You emmer effer. I'm in this competition too. I'm the one you have to worry about." So I decided, you know what? I wanna hit California hard. I wanna go at these competitions in such a way that when someone sees my name they tremble a little. Now, I don't know if I've achieved that, but it's good to have goals. You got to aim high.
Doug, that's how I am with jujitsu, and I'm the reigning kids class champ. So I've made some people tremble when I'm around. I have the highest rate of submissions between 8-year-olds and younger. Like I can't teach the kids class anymore. The insurance didn't want to cover the gym after I got done. But no, I admire, like I said, on their website, all the different styles that you have done and entered. I can't help but ask, I see, obviously you've done an alt beer. I don't remember you being in the most premier event for alt beers, the Alt Pokal. Yeah. See, I don't know. I when I tell people that it is truly anonymous, like when we do the numbers and all that, it truly is. I don't memorize names except for the top place. It's a good shirt. That's good. I like that.
Not pink at all.
Yeah. When I wore it the other day at the ranch, or a month ago, I always say the other day, I used that phrase wrong. Todd was like, I don't remember it being that pink. I said, it's Heather Cardinal. That's what it's called. It's Heather Cardinal. I don't see Kolsch on your list, that like the premier event in the country, not in California, but of the world, Kolsch Cup. Any reason you haven't entered a Kolsch?
To be fair, that list is only the way I keep a massive spreadsheet that tracks my stuff, and it only makes it to that sheet when there's a medal.
Gotcha. That okay.
So it's not, so don't think that every beer I've ever brewed has medaled, because but it only makes it to that sheet when it medals, and then the wins and losses get counted. The overall, that's everything I enter, but that by style, that's why you'll notice there's less beers on the per style than it is on the overall. Probably by half, about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I entered the alt. I've entered a Kolsch. It's one of my lower scoring beers. I haven't gone back and targeted that one. I've really spent a lot more time trying to put my Hellas into a good spot. And I got my alt. You've actually tasted my alt.
Yeah, I believe you. I don't remember
at NHC in San Diego.
At club night.
I tracked you down at one of the nights. I tracked you guys down, and you guys all came over to my booth and tried my alt.
All of us did, dude.
Yeah.
When we were that was the year we were Gilligan's Island, right? I was skipper. And
it was the year you guys were
Todd
doing
was skipper. I was
you had
Gilligan.
the booth at Mutton's where you were doing the extract versus the non-extract.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah. I was not skipper. Obviously, Todd is skipper. Duh. I was Gilligan, and poor James is a professor. Pulled it off to a T, but because he just looked like someone dressed nice for the evening, people are just like, "Hey, skipper. Hey, Gilligan. Hey, will you take a picture with us?" Giving the phones to James. I was like, "He's the professor. He's in this too." Man, what a good. I mean, obviously, Mom, if you're watching, I was sober. I don't. It's not that I don't remember it because of drinking, even though I don't remember because of drinking. But club night, yeah, we enjoyed ourselves because our rooms were a stone throw away from the event. So I just stumbled over there, and that's the last club night they've ever had officially in an official capacity.
I didn't make club night. I had a little too much fun pre-club night. And when it came to club night, I decided sleeping was more valuable. So I completely missed club night.
So you know what? Let me digress here because it's sort of relevant. So it's not the biggest digression I've ever done on a show. Do you think that they'll ever, now that they're independent, that they'll ever do a national conference again? Or do you think the glory days are done and it's over for our hobby in regards to an official national meeting and in competition for homebrewers?
Well, first of all, I was very irritated with leadership in the way they handled the last one they did. And I've been vocal online. But with that said, Drew and Julie, what they're doing now, I mean, they're making some good strides going in the right direction. I actually hope they don't do one big conference. I hope they move to a model where they do 3 conferences and spread them out, make smaller conferences that are easier to be profitable, and allow more people regional to participate. So you don't have everyone flying into Kansas or San Diego, where half the country is having to spend $3,000 to get there, but do smaller conferences and do, maybe a West Coast, a Midwest, and an East Coast, where everyone has a half-day travel to get there, lower cost, and then, the bad side is to do that properly, they would have to cookie cutter 3 times. But the good news is we still have a strong community, and I think they could find support if they did that. But the big one, I don't think there's a model left for just one big national conference. There's just not enough. There's not of us left.
There's really not. And I agree. So I don't even know I don't remember the names of these conferences, but when I was like a teenager, early college, there would be regional shows for like video game, like PAX would do East and West, that is, like you said, that is a much more manageable one that gives that area something to do. If people want to fly in too, fantastic. If you got that kind of bread and budget, whatever, but it allows people in that region to participate with a larger community. Like you were saying, it's probably not feasible to expect one national conference ever again under an official capacity of the AHA. Like I don't know if they'll ever, they probably learned their lesson. Like it's just not, they can't make it even a wash. They probably lost a ton of money on the last event. And then, hats off what they tried to do at Great American Beer Festival last year. I don't know if you went, I got
not hats off. No, let's not go down that road, because I want to say only nice things about the AHA.
Okay, I'm trying to
talk about what they did at GAB.
I'm trying to be nice too, that they even said an effort. No, I don't know if you made it there. I wasn't going to say hats off to the actual event, just like the thought that they tried, but we could leave it at that.
I'm fairly confident. I didn't think this at the time, and if you go and look at my post, you'll see that. I'm fairly confident that Julie was probably doing the best she can.
Yeah.
Am I saying her name right?
Yeah, Julie. Uh-huh.
Okay, sometimes in my head, I think there should be an A at the end of it, but
is it Julia? No,
so it's Julia. Julia Hertz. It's Julia.
Oh, Julia Hertz. Okay, well, she probably that's why she doesn't like it when I'm in person saying, "Hey, Julie." Hey, Julie.
Now I don't know. It's hey, if you know, post a comment. Yeah. I'm sorry, we're not on that channel. So I think now that she was probably handcuffed by the BA, who was just trying to kill the program.
Yep.
So. And what they did, if they were trying to kill the program, what they did at GABF was very successful.
Yeah, that's true. It's Julia, by the way. I did Google it real quick.
It is Julia. So I thought I was saying her name wrong.
I think I've been saying...
Julia, I apologize, and also for all the things I've said to you on Facebook. She responds too, so she reads it.
She does. Hey, Doug, I'm going to go back and use AI to put an A after what we just butchered, and I'll edit this out. We won't look stupid. Don't worry. Everyone knows I love to edit.
$5 bet you won't.
No, I'm a sucker for losing $5 bets. Don't tempt me. But yeah, I do though. Like, I've been going to HomebrewCon so much that in one breath, I was just so heartbroken as to its demise. But in that same breath, I live in an area. I live in the Austin area. And there's one homebrew supply shop there, and they're very small, and I know they're hurting. They'd never probably admit that, but I know they're hurting. And you would think Austin, of all the kind of granola, do-it-yourselfer take, you know what I mean? Like, we like to cook, and I have chickens, and we do this and that. You'd think Austin could support, like, the glory days of Austin Homebrew Supply, where the big warehouse and all that. And my town can't. I can't think of very many in the country that are really supporting it. The Twin Cities, maybe, but in Northern also kind of hanging on by a thread. And More Beer out in California, didn't they shut down some of their brick and mortars? And
I think they've closed a few down. Like I said, we're very fortunate. I'm 12-minute drive away from More Beer, and I would never say I'm one of their best customers. I'm probably one of their most annoying customers with the most questions. But we do everything we can to support those guys.
Yeah. I love them. I love More Beer. Oh, they're such.
And Rob over there is amazing, but not just Rob. He has a whole team. Nick, Ted. They got people who've been doing this for a long time, and it's I don't know what they make, but there's got to be some passion involved in working at where they're working, because it's
Doug, as someone
retail.
As someone who's worked in this industry for almost 18 years, I didn't know you could get paid. I didn't know we made income. I don't know how my bills get paid, but somehow they do. Or maybe that's just working for Todd Burns. But no, this is a good time now for me to solicit comments. Guys, who's your local homebrew supply shop? Shout them out if you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. If you're an audio only listener, like 99.95% of y'all are, Leave it. Spotify, I've been seeing more people commenting there, which is wild to me because when I open up Spotify, the last place I would think to look is in the comment section for a podcast app or a music app, but they do have comments. So let us know. Give your local shop a shout out below. And if anyone says Amazon, I'm blocking you from the channel. How dare you? No, okay. Wherever you buy it from, I don't care. Back to my kind of outline that I did for you. Again, I revert back to your website because I'm just in awe at all the styles you've brewed with your desire to experiment and to get achievements and try new things. Do you still have a go-to style that is like a house beer, something you're brewing multiple times a year, your favorite kind of style to brew? Is there one that you can name?
Well, this year, I went in February. I went to Germany, and we spent 10 days out there, and I think 6 of them were in Bamberg. And then we went out to Cologne, or Cologne, how you're supposed to pronounce that, and Dusseldorf. But I fell in love with I never knew a smoked beer could taste that good. And I was fortunate because my buddy Nick and Mark was with me, and Nick had brought a beer that he had been working on, a smoked beer, through customs in his luggage, and he took it out there, and we tasted it side by side with Special and Schlenkula just to see. And his recipe was extremely close, and this is just from his research. And so then I was fortunate that I got to take his recipe and then put my own tweaks on it, put my own spin on it, and I've brewed that. I mean, it's in the fermenter right now. I got 10 gallons in the fermenter. I have it in my glass. And the reason it's in the reason it's in the fermenter is because when I get down to 1 keg, time to brew that one. Last year I did a lot of brown. The English brown. I just really wanted to get that recipe down. And so what I'll kind of do is I'll brew a variety of beers, but then I'll have one pet beer that I'm trying to work on the recipe, and I'm making tweaks and then tasting it and making more tweaks. And the brown probably took about four iterations before I really felt like it was there. And that one actually, I think I can't remember which competition it was, but it did get some level. I think it was the second place best of show at a competition. So it finally got there. Unfortunately for brown, I call it the Bamberg lager. Because if you go to Bamberg and you ask for a lager, they're giving you a smoked beer. Yeah. They don't call it a smoked beer. They just say, "Oh, you want the lager?" So I just call it Bamberg lager, and it has kind of pushed the brown because it has all the character that I like. It has the complexity. It has just, I mean, now don't ask my son. He tried it when he was here this weekend. Said it was the worst beer he's ever tried. So smoke is not for everyone.
See, and that's what I love though about homebrewing and craft beer. Like, so it doesn't, like, I have friends who know it's funny, ever since I've been more involved on like the Homebrew Happy Hour socials and like posting reels of like clips of this or whatever, like if I clip this, that I've had more people this year or in the last 12 months be like, well, so like, what do you do? Like beer, whatever? Like they're finally finding out what I do for a living as opposed to just guessing that I'm supported by my public teacher wife. But where I'm going with this though, is that they almost then get to like this weird, not shame, but like, I'll be, they'll ask me what I enjoy and I'll tell them, oh, like here in Central Texas, the best German Pils, in my opinion, is Hans Pils from Real Ale. Probably my favorite domestically brewed German Pils in the world. Or you can get some imported Czech stuff, and I'll tell them those, and they're like, oh, well, I drink, whatever it is, but even Budweiser. I'm like, brother, if you like that, drink that. Drink what you like. Like I could not care less, and that's not apathy. I mean, you should drink what you like, but if you do like Budweiser, here, I want you to try this too and see how you feel. Or, you know what I mean? Like craft beer, and especially home brewing, but there are enough craft breweries in Central Texas where if they just tell me the kinds of things they enjoy that they want to get out of the beverage, I can point them in the right direction to a craft beer and get them hooked, which kind of makes it sound like alcoholism. But I mean, I just get them enjoying beers outside of the macro brews. But if people enjoy macro brews, good for you. I could not care less.
It's by definition crafts.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Absolutely.
It's not alcoholism.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's what when my kids are seeing me sneaking beer into their band performances, like, Daddy, what are you doing? I'm a craftsman. Don't judge me. This is- you don't know my. That's
Wow.
the worst part is people don't know when I'm joking. I drink. It is so funny how little I drink, but I don't care if people think I drink a lot, so I lean into it. That's my favorite shtick of all time, where my wife won't let me come do a presentation at my kids' career day. She teaches at the elementary school all my kids have gone up through. And because she thinks I'm going to be like, hey, kids, whose dad's an alcoholic? I think she thinks I'm going to win. It's like, no, babe, if I talk about my job, it's like, hey, kids, who wants to sit at a computer all day and work for Todd Burns? I'm going to get these kids, I'm going to scare them straight. They're going to go to a different career path.
To be fair, that's not a question that should come up, but should it come up, there's a value in honesty. And there's a lesson to be had there. Like, well, what lesson do we want to teach here?
That's right.
Just pick a lane.
That's right, my friend. See, we're on the same page, Doug. 2021, that's when you start brewing. You kind of get bit by the bug. What made you turn to the competition side of this hobby? Was it to test where your beers were in the broader picture of that style? Was it because you're just competitive at heart and everything you do, you want to be the best? Like, what got you into competing as a home brewer?
In September of 22, my friend Jason from the Inland Empire Brewers, he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, you're entering the competition," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm not ready." It's like, because I was going, in the beginning, I was going to these meetings. I was bringing my beer. We do a thing every month where people bring beer and it's tasted blind by the group, and then you get true feedback. So I was getting good feedback, but sometimes, they'd taste my orange like, oh, I don't get the orange. And so I would kind of be hesitant, you got the imposter syndrome. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm ready for that. And so if you look on the sheet, you'll see there were 2 entries in September, and those were both in that competition. And I did okay. So, it wasn't earth shattering, but I did okay. And I'm like, okay, I could do this. And then I'm challenge driven. And I don't know if that's the right word, but I definitely have ADHD. I might have been at my age, I might have been the first person on Ritalin in the 70s. They were testing it on me. That's how far back my ADD goes.
You're the guinea pig. All right.
Right. Yeah. So if I do something, I do it all the way. And I had, when I did the competition, I called Jason up in January and I'm like, hey, how do I package beer to ship it? How do I find the competitions? How do I do? And he asked me a real pointed question. He goes, well, why do you want to do it? Like, do you want to do it because you want the medals? Do you want to do it for the feedback? Like, what's the reason? And he was, doing his due diligence and setting my expectation for the massive amounts of disappointment I was going to have when I start sending my beers around the country. And so when I started digging into that, it was just another rabbit hole. How do you keep the oxygen out of the beer? So X years later, 3 years later, I am now a firm believer that all the medals on my wall are not brewing medals. They're packaging medals. I have proven that I can package beer very good. So, I mean, my philosophy is if you have 12 entries in a flight and half of them didn't keep oxygen out when they packaged, so now it's you and 6 other guys or girls, and it's you and 6 others, and then now it's going to come down to, do you have process flaws? And then now you're down to 3. And then now you're rolling the dice. On any given judge, on any given day, those beers may or may not hit. So it really comes down to, packaging first and then a little luck at the end. So I digress. I started researching how to do competitions. I started sending beers out for competitions. And then once I'm very hyper competitive. So then once you're looking at the results and you're like, oh, I got first place in this one. I want to get first place in everyone. I want to step on the necks of my enemies. and then you go down that rabbit hole. And so here I am a couple years later, and now I'm, sitting back and, last year I took inventory and I did the math on about how much I spent on competitions and it was a number I'm not going to say out loud because my wife might come across this video someday.
Oh, I don't blame you, dude. I lie on this show all the time. It was a number. There was a decimal and there was a lot before it and some after it. Yeah.
There may have been a comma.
There may have been a comma. Yeah, triple digits. I comma all the time, Doug. Don't worry.
So
Before
anyways, that's what got me there. And then, and then it's the competition that brings me back. Once I get, and it's these damn circuits. It's because it's one thing to go into a competition, you get your results, but then you start tracking on circuits, and then you're like, oh, now I'm looking at the leaderboard, and I'm 20th on the leaderboard, and what do I have to do to get to fourth, and what do I have to get to first? And in California, uh, the organization that was doing a leaderboard just completely decided to stop doing it. So I was pushing them and pushing them and pushing them, and I know that I'm going to get some comments on this one, so I know you won't edit it out.
I
And
won't.
I was pushing to kind of get them to move forward, and they just at one point finally they're like, we don't want to do a homebrew of the year. We want to track homebrew clubs. We don't want to we don't want to track homebrewer. And so another gentleman, Jamie, he comes up to me at an event. He's like, why don't we just do it? And I'm like, well, I mean, that's a rabbit hole. Let's look and see what we can see in there. And so now if you go to CHB Circuit, no spaces.com, you will see that we now have, it's a beta year, we have a California circuit that's tracking brewers across Northern and Southern California in divisions. And there's leaderboards, there's club leaderboards, there's all this great stuff. And as my buddy Rob likes to say, you need another hobby?
That's hilarious.
So we have that circuit now. And if I don't have a circuit, I don't have a leaderboard. If I don't have a leaderboard, I can't dominate the leaderboard. I mean, you see the math here, right? This is inevitable.
I admire your desire to do it the right way, because what I do is I have a great discount with a trophy and medal maker, and I just make them. like that's a lot easier, Doug. I don't know if you know this. My wall is lined with Japanese artwork and fake medals. All like #1 dad and #1 brewer. All lies. I've just
the medals don't drive me. The score sheets don't drive me. It's ranking on the leaderboards. That's what drives me to when I'm like, I think I'm like this year. I'm like, I think I'm going to slow down, and then I'm like, oh, I'm in first in the South Division, and I'm in second in the overall. I'm getting beat.
I need you on my Battlefield squad. There's this game coming out. We need you for the rankings, for the leaderboards, because you'll put in the work. I did want to interrupt just real quick because I was thinking, man, this is a great segue to talk about the judging and your desire for all that. But before I segue there, I totally glossed over the way you packaged in the early days compared to now. For you, like from day one, you're brewing on a fantastic piece of equipment. Were you also kegging from day one, or did you bottle like a sucker? And then and then same with your fermenting, because you're brewing so much. I see that one fermenter behind your left shoulder. I can't make out what everything is in there. But what was your packaging like in the first? Was that first batch a bottled batch, or did you start kegging right out the gate?
Hold on, let me see if I can.
Is it on the? I didn't see that on the website.
Which way are you looking over here?
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. What behind there? Oh, okay. There's even more. There we go.
So this is the X3. This is the. I keep saying it's 15 gallon. I think it's a 14 gallon. And then I have my brew buckets right here, and then over here we have the G40. The sink is an essential element in the brewery. But to answer your question, I kegged from day one. The only time I've ever bottle is for competitions, and I hate it.
Isn't
with
it?
Passion.
From what do you do it with the counter pressure from the keg, or you don't bottle condition for it? I mean, that you're not going to ever probably win.
No. If you're bored on my video on my website or on my YouTube channel, you can go to either one. The website's going to drive you back to the YouTube channel anyways. I have a 2-minute video that shows my bottling process. So a lot of my stuff, a lot of the challenges I solve in the brewery is how I can make myself a little, get good process and good product and be a little lazy at the same time. So when I was bottling, holding the bottle up, right? First of all, I was bringing the bottling wand or the counterflow down into the bottle and holding it that way. But then in between, you had to put this somewhere. So that was a problem. So then I made this stand which you can see in that video. And it's really rough. It's a prototype that just stayed. We just decided not to go and do a final version. We just like, the prototype works. So then I was holding it. So because now I bring the bottle down and I'm having to hold the bottle weight up. And so then I built a little shelf for it to kind of slide. I know I know, I see the look in your eyes. I have no trong.
What are you talking about?
I have solutions for problems, but they are not commercial solutions. They are just my garage solutions. So anyways, the bottling process is, I think if I contribute one thing, it's when you want to cap on foam, you'll see in the video that I'll take the bottle and I'll just go down to, like, I have a metal plate or on the cement, and I just tap it real hard. If you've done this at, like, parties where someone hits the top of your bottle and it causes the beer to foam.
Yeah.
Well, that works for bottling too. So you tap it real hard, it starts to foam up, and now you're capping on foam. And if you cap on foam, that's the best thing you can do to keep oxygen out. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but I said a lot of words.
Well, no, what I was about to say is that was an accidental tip for people for their bottling process too. Like, because like you said, like that, I guess bottling on that foam is doing a better job preserving the integrity of that beer you just bottled for shipment, is what I'm assuming is the thought process, right?
Yeah, I wish I could remember the group. It's a professional brewing company. It might have been Spike. It might have been someone else. But they just did. You can put in your description. I'll send you the name of the company, and you can add in the description.
Deal.
And get people to go look at that description. But they did a study where they did different types of processes, and then they actually sent the bottles off to check the DO. And they put the math on this video they did. And doing counterflow, running CO2, purging a bottle for 10 seconds took the number down to, like, parts per X billion. I don't know what the number was, but it was still a big number. And then they brought in capping on foam, and that was the biggest thing at getting oxygen out of the beer, because when that foam pushes out, it's capturing that oxygen and it's pushing it out with it. So capping on foam is the most important part. And if you're brewing in any competitions that I'm in, please disregard that lie that I just said.
Again, dude.
And now I'm drinking a Dunkel in honor of your beer, sir.
Right on. Yeah. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, I'm drinking from a glass, but I wanted to show people that my local liquor store had a bargain on a variety pack from Warsteiner. I don't know how they sell it so cheap, but I buy it every time I see it. And it had the Dunkel, it had their Pils, which is probably my favorite imported German Pils. Urquell is my favorite imported Pils of all time. I love Pilsner Urquell. And then they also had their Brewer's Gold, I think is what it's called, which is like a malty Pils, or malty lager rather.
There's a place in Big Bear, a beer hall, I guess, for lack of a better word. It's literally a beer hall, and they have all the beers you just mentioned on tap.
Oh my!
And I'm like, how did they get them? How did they get it here? Like,
right.
That just, it blows my mind how, and it tastes good. So I'm not sure if there's a local distributor, if they're making it. I don't know how they're getting it here, but yeah, I'm very impressed with their beers.
There's a German community just south of me called New Braunfels, and Krautzes or Krautzes, or I don't know. I can't say it because my speech impediment, guys. I'm trying to say it right, but they frequently have Früh Kolsch on tap. They frequently will have Warsteiner Pils on tap. And again, I'm like, what are y'all paying? And they're still only charging like $7 a pint or whatever for it, where I'm like, these guys are losing out. Like, and how many schmutz are in here and don't realize the gold that y'all have got on tap? It is. I wish when I go in there and I tell the waiter or the waitress bringing the beer, like, you know how great this is, they just kind of roll their eyes. They couldn't care less. I should probably go tell the owners, like, thank you so much for creating this.
So Josh, you might want to edit this out because you don't want Todd to hear this comment. But why is it that your speech impediment voice is exactly the same as your Todd voice?
Oh, no, my Todd voice is, hey, I don't want this on the show. You're going to have to edit this out.
Yeah, you're right. I got that wrong.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, Todd's saying, I don't sound like that. That's what he's saying right now. Actually, Todd has been so busy. So last week, he was here in my town working on some stuff at a rental property that he owns for that right off campus, right around the corner from where I live, actually. I live, not to give hints, but I'm very close in a university university town, to that university. And so he was here last week doing that, and he's now here this week doing it. And so I offered him again, come into the office right now. I didn't tell him we could light up cigars, but I was like, we'd come in and we'll do an episode. And he's like, I'm too busy. I have to work. So that's what, but yeah. My Todd voice, I can lose the impediment when I'm making fun of him. I'll leave that. But now looping me back to where I should have segued. And if I was a better editor, I would have chopped what I just set out, put it somewhere else. But yes, we're going to get into the book, because first I want you to tell us, was it your involvement in the competition scene that then got you interested in how are these people coming up with their scores for my beer? How are they like, or did you think understanding the guidelines to the level of a judge would make you a better brewer? Like, what was your approach doing, or in your thought process rather, of taking the exam, being certified, and then we'll segue to what led to the publication of the book?
So, I mean, in the beginning, it's community that drove that. Everything in my life, I joke about my ADHD, which is true, but everything in my life, non-diagnosed, as an adult, everything in my life really is driven about how do I build more community? How do I, when I was riding motorcycles, I was leading weekly rides with people. Everything I do, so I always try to bring in people. That's the goal. And so if you want to be in the brewing community, in the competition community, then the judging is where that leads you. So I started supporting my local club, and then in an effort to be better at supporting the local club, I took the online exam and then started studying for the tasting exam. And then as part of getting, and then my competition kicks in where, okay, well, I want to do this more. I want to get better at it. I don't want to be the guy in the room who doesn't know what he's doing. I want to be the guy in the room who is moderately competent, not competent, mind you. Let's not go crazy.
Just a little bit.
Moderately, just a little bit competent. That's the goal. So that's kind of what drove me to that. And then I'll go ahead and I'll segue right across for you. So after deciding I wanted to take the tasting exam, I started, my ADHD kicked in. Okay, we're going to go deep diving, and we're going to find all the resources out there, and we're going to dig through them, and we're going to understand this process. And then I started looking, and there were no resources other than the BJCP website, which is a great resource. It has all the information, but the information is not written per se as here's what you need as a potential judge. It's written like a lot of the information that I got. I actually went to the instructions that they give proctors on how to grade tests. So if I can understand how the proctors are grading the test, then I can understand how I need to prepare for the test. And so with lack of resources, I literally just devolved to reaching out to total strangers on the internet. And so I would be in a Facebook group, and there's judges there, and I would just reach out and say, hey, does anyone want to look at my score sheets and give me some feedback? And one of those people was Brian Cooper, and he is highly ranked at the BHCP. He has the Dr. Homebrew show, and one of the members on there. And so he's like, yeah, send him over. And I was expecting to just say, oh, good, needs work. But he went through with a red pen and he wrote, he had to have spent hours going over these sheets and giving me feedback. And then he said, here's a resource for you. And he sent me the Zoom link, the recordings for a study group that he did, plus all the materials. If I did not have that resource, I would not have done as well on the test as I did. That's just, there's no other way around that. The other resources weren't enough. That was really helpful. So then after I went through that process, I'm like, well, there's no resources out there. And I keep hearing people talk about how we need more judges. We don't have enough judges. This is a very little secret, but the judging pool is slowly decaying. We're getting older. We're not going to be around, and there's not as many new people coming up. And so everyone talks about that, and they lament about how much that's a problem, but I don't hear a lot of solutions. And so I'm like, okay, well, I need to make I need to kind of refine my study process. So when I retake the test, because I missed my goal of getting an 80 by 2 points. I didn't quite get to that ability to go on for national. So my competitive, I lost, but I still, I passed it, but I got certified, but I could have done better. So I started putting this study guide together as originally it was just study notes for myself. And then I started putting together a tip guide. So like I could just share with people, aspiring judges, like, hey, here's 7 pages I put together. And then I was looking at it and I'm like, that's a pretty good start to a book. I mean, I just have to build it out. And then I started building it out. And next thing you know, I have a book. And now there's a resource. And I imagine after, after the dozens of viewers that you bring in, there's going to be at least 3 of them that are going to go, oh, there's no books. You should have said that. Now I'm going to make a book. And so now I'm going to have the 5th ranked book in a category that didn't exist until I started it.
My AI program just wrote my book for me, and it's called BJCP Successful Exam. I'm trying to redo your title. No, first off, dozens of people is generous. We have thousands of listeners. Tens are entertained, my friend. Tens of them are entertained. They're already.
You guys do a great job.
Oh, this is literally the most fun I have every week of my life. And so if I could keep this going, what was this, episode 442?
442, I think. I'll tell you, I listen to different podcasts for different reasons. When I first, and back into deep diving, when I first started brewing, I didn't know the language.
Yeah.
So I just started, my job. I'm in my own space for a lot in the day where I'm on job sites. So I'm just listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
And so I just started listening to all the podcasts. I don't want to name drop all the other guys.
Oh, I love them all. Go for it. Do it.
So Brewlosophy, the Dr. Homebrew guys.
Yep. Brew Strong.
Brew Strong.
Even Beersmith. I had no idea why people are so polarizing on Brad. Like if you go to his reviews, I love Brad. I love Beersmith podcast.
Yeah. So I learned all my lexicon from all those guys. The reason I'm a brew tuber now is because I love listening to Exit 12. Exit 12 was one of the most entertaining homebrew that I heard, and now I'm going to get some crap. Am I allowed to say the other one?
You say whatever. He certainly said whatever he wanted on this show.
So I'm going to get some shit over there, not by Nick, but by everyone else. Like, oh, you got your nose weird, and so it's like, but no, I really enjoyed listening to but I learned nothing from that show. I learned nothing, but I loved it, and I'm not going to say your show is a show I learned nothing on.
Oh, dude, you can't hurt my
feelings.
But
it's one of my favorite. Like when it's on, the moment it drops, if I'm listening to another podcast, I switch over because I love the banter and I love the community. And there's something that's genuine about what you guys do. The way, I mean, let's be honest. You might be Todd's illegitimate son because the way the connection you guys have. I mean, we're not going to talk about it. I've seen you side by side.
Yeah.
You don't look exactly like him or at all, but you do a good impersonation. So like right there, you might be. I don't know. But no, you guys have such a great camaraderie and connection that you can't fake.
Yeah, no,
and that's fun to listen to. That's just fun to listen to. You guys do a great job.
And elaborating on that, because I don't want Todd to think I like him. But so, like, segueing off of that maybe not to that degree. Like, yeah, Todd is at best a creepy uncle to me, and at worst, maybe the milkman in 1985. What I never asked him, what were you doing? Were you in San Antonio February of 1985? I was born in November of 85. So I have to ask him sometime, because you're right. But we in that
sample. Oh yeah.
Wait. hey. That's mean. That I will say though, I did my fat face for my impression of him. We're meeting each other on the scale. He's coming down and I'm going up. It's wild. Todd's about to be under 200 pounds. I've never seen under 200 pound Todd.
I have a few of those in my life.
Yeah.
I was when I was young, I was a super emaciated individual. When I was my first job out of college, this really nice Hispanic lady, she just go, "You're diminutive," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" And I looked it up. She said I was tiny. And then as time has gone on, I've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and I still in my head, I still am a small guy.
Right.
And so,
oh yeah.
And so when I see that someone who's way bigger than me, they can't wear my shirt because it's too baggy on them. I'm like,
That's
oh
funny.
wait,
Oh no.
maybe my brain's not working
Yeah.
right here. I mean, I'm not seeing what's actually seeing.
Yeah, no. Back to your book before we start wrapping this up and whatever.
Okay,
How's the
I digress too much. I
No,
apologize.
no, no, no. I love it. I just have to rein it in. I respect your
Yeah.
time. How's the reception been? I'm gonna put obviously a link to it, guys. If y'all aren't watching at YouTube, just believe me, this is a legitimate publication. It's not just some like I said, some PDF document. Like, you put a lot of effort into it. The good thing is it is a quick, it is not a you intend it to be consumable and not drag out, and that's what I appreciate the most about it. You're very to the point. You do a good job with the glossary of terms. Going through the glossary, I'm going to start incorporating many of these words when I describe myself, as well as beers that I'm judging for Kolsch Cup and Alt Pokal. But like, I assume the reviews you have on Amazon right now, there's only a few, but they've all been like, oh my God, this made a huge difference. How does it feel when you get that kind of feedback as someone pouring your passion into this to help grow the hobby?
So at first, my goal was, I just want to sell a book, like literally, just I want to sell a book, and so now, and I don't know. I'm not a publisher, so I don't know what successful looks like. We've sold, we've sold some books. It's only been out for a couple months now, and I think I'm on pace to probably, maybe do 100, maybe a little more than 100 this year. So I'm not gonna pay my rent with this book.
Not
I
yet.
I priced it specifically so that the hard copy is, I think it's like under $11. I don't know. I forget if it's $9.99 or
Right
$10.99,
now
but
it's 10. Yeah, it's $10.
okay. So I would have priced it less, but I have a background in marketing, and I know that if I'd priced it at $5, no one would buy it because they would assume it's crap.
Yeah. Yep.
So I have a PDF version that you can get for under $5. So if you just want to read it and you don't want something in your library, because my goal here is to get the information into the community, not to get a new car. Because let's face it, I'm getting like $2 a book. I am not buying a new car on the 36 book copies I've sold so far. But I want that in the community. So I have the hard copy. I By a request, someone had wanted a hardback, and so in order to do a hardback, I had to get it up to a higher page count. And so I started looking because I didn't want to just draw it on. And so I spent a good amount of time looking at how to put quizzes in and kind of give some additional value. And then I learned that I do not have the skill set to create quizzes and give it that extra value. So I opted not to do the hard copy. But you can buy it in paperback for $10.99. You can get it in a PDF for under $5. And if you have Amazon Unlimited, Kindle Unlimited, I think it's called, you can read it for free.
I was just
And
about
I
to
see a
say
lot
that.
of people doing
Yep.
that. You can just go on and read it for free. And I think you can even get a what do they call it? A test subscription or a trial run. And then you want to read the book. Or if you track me down and you say, hey, I can't afford your book, but I want a copy, I'll probably send you a PDF. I've sent a lot of PDFs out to people before I actually went publishing. I sent a lot of PDFs. It's hard to know. I got 2 reviews. If you're watching this, and let me do my little pitch. If you're watching this and you find and you got the book and you see some value, please give me a review, because it's not something people do anymore. They only give reviews when when the book comes upside down.
Yep.
But I have had a few people from the online community, from the Master Homebrewers program and the BJCP. I'm in a couple Facebook pages. So I'm in places where there are people who are serious, way better judges than I am. Grandmaster level, master level, national level. Most certified people are probably better than me also. And there's a couple recognized people that are probably better than me. And I think I met a guy once who was provisional, which means he failed the test, and he was probably better than me too. So it's a low bar. But there's at least 2 people who reached out to me on one of the discords and told me flat out, I run a study group 3-4 times a year. This is now part of my curriculum, and chapter, and I forget which chapter he said, so I don't want to say it, but one of the chapters, this gentleman said that chapter, I'd never thought about it in that perspective, and I'm going to be pulling information from that chapter and incorporating it into the presentation I do for judges.
That's incredible.
So
What good
that's
feedback.
that's the best feedback, and I wish I had top of mind of who that was who said it. And I apologize if you're listening to this and you said that. Thank you. And I'm an old man, so that's why I don't remember.
Can
So I have
can
that out.
people can people leave Amazon like because you've sold them through Amazon? If you just sent a PDF, can they still go leave a review on Amazon for it, or do they have to have had
No, you can.
purchased it?
So anyone can leave a review. It won't show that you're a verified purchaser, but I sent you the book.
Yeah.
You could put a review.
That's what I was asking for, because
Yeah.
people don't realize, like you said, the value of feedback, good, especially good feedback. Not that we're bribing
good
people.
feedback.
Yeah, only good feedback. But like that's why I always tell people I'm a terrible YouTuber. In the channel, we getting more views lately, but our audio only, because people, like you said, on a job site or on a commute or whatever, this is not you don't need to see this mug on your TV screen for now an hour and some change. I understand that. But I tell people all the time, hey, if you are at YouTube, comment, because that helps a ton. If you listen on Spotify, leave a review. If you listen at Apple Podcasts, it helps the algorithm so much. And taking it back to you for your book, it helps broadcast that book to more people that Amazon's algorithm thinks might be interested. Oh, that guy, he bought a carboy and he bought this and he bought this. He could probably benefit from this book that is, in the same genre of interest. And yeah, if you have benefited from Doug's book in any way, go leave a review. Go to Amazon. I'm going to, and I'm going to just fluff it up. I'll be like, Doug paid me to give this 5-star review. I'm smoking the cigars he sent me, and then, but I can't, and I'm not just buttering you up. I read it the first time when I was up at headquarters because I was trying to pretend like I was working, and so Todd's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm studying. I'm reading the study guide." Oh, okay, continue.
I took that picture too.
Yeah, did you really?
Yeah.
Wait, which one are you talking about? Your author picture? Or are you talking about the front cover? Which picture?
Well, actually, both.
Oh,
but
nice. Well,
the author picture, I did a selfie in a bar in Bamberg, and it just came out really good. It was surprisingly good. And the front picture I took at, give me a second, I want to say it, Skyland. So we did an event at Skyland in Riverside. I'm sorry. Every time I say Skyland, I think they're in Riverside. I think they're in Corona. And the owner really, really gave me a side eye when I said this. So I apologize. Because in my mind, I'm in Redlands. Everything down the 91 is Riverside until you get to Orange County. So if you're in Corona and you're in Narco, just edit out the city.
I'm not gonna.
Skyland. So we were taking pictures, and that picture was taken in his bar, and he was nice enough to let us waste some beer to get that photo.
It's such a cool photo, but I was going to say, you give him grief that he's not using CM Becker faucets at his bar. How dare he? I can tell.
There's that.
Yeah.
I totally digressed. You were saying reviews are great.
Yes, reviews are great. I'm with you. That's the problem when Todd reins me in to when I do digress. He's like, how about we move on to another question? And I'll hit the gong. Nobody hears it. And then the show moves on. So we are just cut from the same cloth. It's okay. People either have already tuned out or they're enjoying it. There's no middle ground with this podcast. If you've ever read our 1-star reviews and our 5-star reviews, it's like, that guy thinks he's funny, 1 star. And the other part is, that guy thinks he's funny, 5 stars. Like there's no middle ground to me. I'm very
so with me, I can tell you my personality is strong. And I was when I meet new people, the problem I have is I don't have appropriate social boundaries. So when I am interacting with someone, I'm interacting as myself. And if I just met them, I'm acting the same way I will when I've known them for 3 years.
Absolutely.
And it catches people off guard.
Yeah.
I had someone not that long ago. It's like, you just met me. And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, why did you say that? You just met me. And I'm like, well, because this is who I am. And you get me today. And in 3 years, if you're still in my circle, you'll get the same guy. And if I have a couple extra beers, you'll get a slightly louder version of the same guy, because my filters are always at nil. And it's just who I am. So
Absolutely. That's why I have sincerely appreciated your time in doing this. I told you we'll shoot for an hour. We're pushing like, I believe, an hour 15. So we're not that far off. It hadn't been too long. But to wrap it up, though, all the links of the stuff we've talked about will be in the show notes. Especially the book, the study guide. We'll have it in there. But I want you to take this time to just name drop where you'd like to drive people to learn more about you. I don't know if you're trying to grow your YouTube more, if you'd rather like have your hub be your website. Where can people find out more about Doug Walker and what you're doing there in the webosphere?
well, it depends on what they prefer. I will tell you, I don't do a lot. I don't do Instagram well. If you're on the YouTube, then you can just look in this camera and you can see why. If you're not, then let me just tell you, my beard has lost most of its color. So Instagram is a challenge for me. I'm getting better at YouTube, and I'm really trying to build a YouTube channel. But YouTube doesn't know the algorithm of YouTube doesn't know what to do with me. Because I did a video where I went out to an event and I just grabbed my camera and I just walked around and started doing beer samples and having people in the crowd judge beers, and it was a fun day. I drank too much, way too much. I learned a lesson that day. If I do an event next time, don't drink the whole glass. Just because once I started, I couldn't not hit every booth because it'd be rude. And so
I agree.
it was bad. But I do events. I do brew days. Not as good as your brew days. I saw your brew day in preparation for the show. I looked at one of your brew days, and you guys have a lot. There's never a quiet moment. You fill that time, sir. And so I do brew days. I've really been leaning into educational and taking processes that I do that I thought everyone did, and then I have this little saying that I put in all those. I slip it in every time. It's like this isn't the only way, might not be the right way, but it's my way, and it's how I do it in my system. And I share those processes with people in that series. It's the How I Do It series. And so I'm doing all these different things. And so then all of a sudden my YouTube channel, I did a video, and I went out and I posted on Facebook and Discord because I didn't know better on the first day. And apparently YouTube punishes you if you have hundreds of people come in from external links and they haven't had a chance to test it. So that poor video is just dying on the vine. But I think your question was where you go to my website, if that's going to drive you back to YouTube. But the website has additional things. It's got my recipes. Every brew day that I've done, I have my recipe on the website, and I'm trying to keep updating the recipe, not to the recipe I used on that brew day, but to my most recent version of that one. So that's something that only exists on my website. Eventually, I have a packaging thing that how to package, not bottling, but actually putting in a box. Something I did for the guys over at the Brew Club, and I decided to stick on there. So I have a couple of things that are on the website that aren't anywhere else. Everything that's on YouTube eventually will make it into the website, and so I don't know. I would say find me wherever you find me, and if you don't find me, I find that okay too.
I love that. And if you, and I want to, when you said your philosophy about it might not be the right way, but it's the way I do it. That is totally what I love about Todd and James, because they're the same way. And you've listened to the show, so I don't have to tell you, but for people who are new, because Todd and James, it feels like they haven't been on in forever. What I love about them is that they, like James especially, he'll preface every answer with like, here's what I do, and here's the results I get from it. And I've been enjoying that, especially with pressure fermentation. Dude, we have gotten, so I don't normally, like when I do listener feedback, and it's normally only just positive stuff. I've had my unfortunate fair share of people when we got into pressure fermentation who said some mean things that could cause some softer skinned people to abandon ship or stop. But I have to just remind them, like, hey, first off, you're taking this way too serious. Like. But secondly, we're just telling y'all what we've done that works for us. That's all we can do. And if you have a better way, tell me it. Don't just tell me how dumb we are and we're doing it wrong and here tell me if you think it's wrong, why, and if you think that my beer would be even better from a different process, share it with me. That's the best part of the homebrewing community, is when people handhold each other or share their ideas with each other to make the best beer we can. That's all it's about. Community for me is what it's all about. Making good beer is a byproduct of that solid community. It's
there's 1,000 ways to beer, and only a few of them are wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's botulism.
Because that's that's the one deadly way.
That's the one way that's not right.
That's the one for sure. Yeah, I love that. The one way for sure that's wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna come in one episode all, I canned my beer. Anyway, Doug, my friend, I sincerely appreciate your time. We will have to have you on again, because I'm sure what happens in these kinds of things, especially because you are an author and you have this, I'm going to get follow-up questions or this or that. So if anything, if I did enough follow-up questions specifically about the study guide, maybe we do a little like Q&A where you help me do the show and take the questions. You know what I mean? Like a normal episode, but you would just like.
I would love to take the questions on one condition.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions has to be about this mythical CO2 blanket that sits on top of it.
Yeah, that's where I remember your feedback from.
Yeah. You never put that one out there.
I didn't. That's hilarious. You were the first person to really be like, I have a bone to pick.
It bothered me, and I love you guys. It bothered me. And every time I hear poor James, every time I hear him say it, and I'm like, I get it. It hasn't been a problem in his process, which means it's fine.
Yeah.
But you're telling someone out there making a New England IPA that there's a mythical and so I think on the thing I said to you, I actually told you. And by the way, I tried not to say this part. We almost made it.
We almost made it.
Look up Dalton's law. It's very clear. The oxygen particles are a different size than the CO2 particles. So when they go into that space, they don't even bump into each other.
Yeah.
They fill the space independently of each other.
Yeah.
And so this is the example that someone gave me once. If you're in the other side of the house and someone walks into the end of the house and they're holding a pizza and you're 2 rooms over, you immediately know there's a pizza because those particles diffuse into the space and that fills the space.
Right.
That's what oxygen does when you open up a container. But if it's working for you, I say do it. Just don't tell people there's a mythical blanket that will protect their unicorn beer.
And let me say this because I might clip this part for Instagram. He's talking to James. He's talking about James, not me. He's talking about James. I never said the mythical thing. I just go along with it. No, I love it. That is so funny that you waited to the 11th hour to remind me that the feedback you sent one time. And I don't forget, was it an email? It wasn't a voicemail. I would have played it if it was a voicemail.
No, it was actually, so I was on I did some I forget why, but for some reason I sent you something and you had shared with me your personal phone number. I think it was when we were in
San Diego?
NHC. I think you were like, "Hey, come see me at such and such." And so the number I had for you was your personal cell phone.
Yeah.
So I left that voicemail on your personal cell phone.
That's what it was. Okay. That must be why I never put it into the show. I love making Todd and James uncomfortable. So if we gotta get that actually, we'll do a whole other episode about I will take that question. Like, I will phrase it as a question from me, like what the topic is, because it is worth going into. And I love that you told me Dalton's law, right? Is what you just called
Dalton's law. So don't ask James because James already has his.
No, right, yeah.
But get a scientist on.
I don't have any of those friends.
It's gotta be someone. Yeah. Anyways,
I'm gonna have my dad wear a lab coat and be like, "Oh, we brought in a scientist today."
But if you want to have me back for any reason, I've had a lot of fun here. I'd love to come in and answer questions. I will tell you that I think I've done pretty good today, but a lot of times I'll go to say something and one word will come to my mind, and then somewhere on the path to my tongue, it completely changes to a different word. And I don't hear it. And so if I'm giving people advice, I might get you a lot of those 1-star reviews. Like, Doug told me that And I'm like, yeah, that's not, that's what yeah, you're right. I heard it. That's what I said. That's not what I was trying to say.
If the one-star review is creative enough, I told you, Todd, he X'd my idea. I wanted to make my favorite one-star review, Firefly or Dragonfly Lady 420 or whatever she is.
Yeah. She's, I love when you talk about
I
her.
wanted to make a shirt for we have a merch store. Again, I'm not buying a car or retiring off it, but we sell a lot of merch any given month. In the colder seasons, we sell a lot of sweatshirts and whatnot. I wanted to make her one-star review a shirt, and he was like, no, that's kind of mean. And I was like, did you read what she wrote about me? That's mean.
I think she put, listen, I'll give you a counterpoint for Todd. She put her message on a public forum.
Thank you.
There is no expectation of privacy at that point.
Thank you.
She put her name. She chose to put her name there. So if you want to market that, I say go big. Find out where she lives. Get a billboard.
I love it.
Find out what bus she takes to work and just buy that bus stop. Just put her information right on that bus stop. So every time she goes to work, it's like, now I have to find a new way to work.
It's wild how similar we think, dude. It's wild. Because
by the way, I do want to say, if you take a bus to work, that was not meant as an insult to you.
Oh, of course not.
It was just a comment about Dragonfly.
Which again, too, I will get feedback from people saying, Josh, you said this thing that was kind of offensive. I'm like, guys, I'm just speaking. I promise I'm not trying to offend. I like making fun of all things. And if we can't laugh at stuff, then the terrorists win. We have to be able to make fun of everything. But Doug,
my style of humor is I like to get my toes on the line of inappropriate and just wiggle them. every once in a while, I misjudge the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I've misjudged the line today, post it in the comments.
Yeah. Smash that like button. Leave a comment below. Doug, my friend, again, we'll get you on the show at some point. I appreciate your time, dude, and we'll talk soon.
All right, enjoy that. Bye.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to Homebrew Happy Hour. You could email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. Even better, call it in to 325-305-6107 and get yourself that gift card to kegconnection.com. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntins Malt. Premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already using Muntins, give them a try by joining the Trub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of premium liquid imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. Again, one more time, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of the absent Todd Burns, the absent James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.